Hey loves, how you doing? It's been so long since I uploaded a video on this channel. Since we're all on a lockdown, not going anywhere, so I took it upon myself to why not? Let me just weigh in some knowledge. The video today is teaching salaries in China, and the second part will be financial management. If you are interested in this video, please stick around for more. Alright, so there are 6 components that teaching salary consists of. They are your base salary, compensation on years of experience, teaching hours compensation. I will explain further as I go down with the video, because all the schools are different. Yes, it might be under a training center, of which they work extra ridiculous hours, because even during the weekend they do work, hence they are the most paid. But let's not get into it now. And then let's just say every school has their own different hours. All right, so some works for 4 hours, some work for 6 hours a day or 9 hours a day, so that also depends on how much you're going to get paid. The fourth one is performance hours, payable by semester and by year end, and it does not exceed 10% of your total compensation. So most of the time, people get, when they do good in their job, they brought more students, or because in China, yes, you have the job, right? You come, and then it happens in training centers a lot. Training center or a kindergarten, where we call it, you have to do a demo class. All right, so your demo class, you have to prepare this lesson to this new kid, and then they have to like you. So if you bring more people, more kids to the school, you get paid for that. Isn't that nice? If you do a good job, they give you money for that. Number 5 is special allowance for distinguished teachers. There's a different criteria. Who is a distinguished teacher? Your salary and your colleague's salary might not be the same. You guys might be working at the same school, teaching same hours, but she might not be earning the same amount as you earning. So there is a criteria for that. And number 6, special hardships per diem for teaching at remote villages or mountainous regions, places. So the teachers that teach in these remote villages, they get more money, or they get like a bonus for it, because the area is not as good, or is not regarded as comfortable like first tier and second tier provinces. There are 3 major factors that influences the average salary of a teacher in China. It is your experience and qualifications, which province you're going to work in, and the last one is the type of institution you teach. I mentioned all this in detail, the type of institutions they are in China, and the qualifications that you need in order for you to be teaching here. I did give a very detailed video in one of my previous videos. If you would like, please do check it out and understand further what it means. The different types of institutions they have, it's a kindergarten, and kindergarten also has a private and public. There is high school, primary schools, international schools are on similar, same level as training center, because they get paid more or less the same amount. And then we have universities, and of course colleges. They are also, those two, they are on a different level. So other factors which they do consider when they weigh how much you're supposed to be getting, it's a bit sensitive, but it is what it is. It's true. They consider where you're from. Imagine that. So they consider where you're from, which country, is it a native, are you a native speaking, or you are non-native speaking as well. They consider that. And sometimes, but this happens when it's a part-time job, they consider your gender, because they're very specific when they write their requirements. They will say, I need a white European female. I need a white American female. They are so specific. I'm not saying all of them. Let me not generalize, but some of them. Let me just say some of them. They have like gender requirements, and they usually favor females. And another thing is your race. Yeah, you might be a native speaker, but sometimes it does play a part. But the most thing that plays a huge role is native speaker or non-native speaker. That's it. Third, there are four tiers cities in China. First, second, third, fourth tiers cities. Let's start. The fourth and the third one, sometimes they change. While I was doing my research, I looked up the cities, provinces, and it was a 2014 statistic, what information that I got, right? And then later when I did it again, I did my research, I found that the countries that were regarded as the cities that were regarded as second tier, they are now first tier in 2020 currently, because market has changed, economy and all those things has changed to make them the first tier. So when you go, if you're still at home and you're still planning to come here and you haven't made your decision yet, just make sure 2020 statistics now of where this province is and how much they earn. I'm going to tell you, third-tiered cities are cities with a population in the range of 20,000 to 50,000, and it's cities like, please excuse my pronunciation in some of this because they are very like anyway. We have Jinan, Dalian, Harbin, Shijiazhuang, and Zhangzhou. Okay, those are the third tier cities. And second tier cities are population in the range of 50,000 to 100,000, and its province capitals, Wuhan, the famous Wuhan, and Xiamen and Chongqing. Yeah, those are the second tier, according to 2014 statistics. And the first tier cities are the major, like they call it the big four, because it's the most busiest cities. They bring more money to the country and all of that. And they are Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, in that particular order. That is the big four cities. So that's where you can expect to be paid the big money, right? 2020 though, statistics, they say that Nanjing, Xi'an, Tianjin, and Chengdu, Hangzhou are regarded as the new first tier cities in 2020. So more or less the money might be the same. Tianjin and Chengdu were second tier a while back. So right now the salaries there might have changed, might have been up a bit, and yeah, that's a very good thing. So, okay, I know that was a bit confusing, but I hope I made sense. I'm going to tell you the salary range from the first, second, and third tier cities. It's First year they get 15,000 to 30,000. Second year you get 13,000 to 25,000, and third year you get 10,000 to 20,000. So that is the range that you get from with RMB, right? The rough salary range for different institutions. So if you're interested in a kindergarten, now I'm just generalizing as a whole, all right? I'm not dividing it in tiers anymore. It's just in China in general. Kindergarten, you will get 8,000 to 12,000, depending, because of short classes. It's a kindergarten, their kids the span of concentration is very low, so classes might be from 20 to 40 minutes. High school, 12,000 to 14,000. University, college level, 10,000 to 15,000. And training school, international schools, they are the highest with 10,000 to 16,000. And numbers might be high, like things change. There's no actual accurate number of how much people earn. There's different categories and how they choose, right? All right, so I'm going to read to you 2020 currently what the recruiters are looking for, and this is currently open. Actually, there's a whole lot more, but this is one of the groups that I follow, and this is what they sent out. They are open to new teachers. They want new teachers from October. So if you're interested, just listen up, and then you can just Google or yeah. The training center and kindergarten are in urgent need of full-time foreign teachers. Foreign teachers requirements currently in China have work experience and can start work as soon as possible. That's another one. Beijing, native speakers, 15 to 30,000, and non-native speaker will get 11 to 20,000. So you see another example of a native and a non-native speaker work at the same school, same hours, but your salary won't be the same. And Shanghai, native speaker 15 to 30,000, non-native speaker 12 to 20,000. And we have Tianjin, which is native speaker 16 to 27, and non-natives 12 to 18,000. Guys, don't be scared. I know these are big numbers, like they go up to 30,000 and all of that. If you do get a salary that says 30,000, best believe there is going to be deductions. All right, there's going to be your tax. You have to pay tax. You're going to have to pay your own apartment, water and electricity, your transportation from your place to work. So don't be fascinated about the amount of money. Rather, try to understand which institution it is. Be happy with the benefits. Most importantly, I always say, find a place that the employer pays for accommodation, so you don't have to worry about accommodation. Dalian, which I said was a third tier, native speaker, they pay you 16 to 27,000, and non-native speaker is 12 to 18,000. Harbin is native speaker 18 to 26, non-native is 12 to 16, and there is many more, guys. There is Wuhan, there's Xiamen, so many others, but I was just giving you a roundup of the type of salaries you're going to get in 2020, as some cities have moved up a tier. All right, so the next thing is what to consider before choosing the highest salary. Number one, what are my benefits? How much is my bonus? You get a bonus every year when you finish your contract, then you get a bonus, right? So bonuses, they differ. Some get 8,000, some get 10,000. So you never know. Will I get a yearly increase if I decide to work here for a few more years? Like for example, I teach at a university in Beijing, right? And my salary is not the same as my colleagues because they've been there for long. And I just recently started in September at that school. So if I decide to stay with them, they're gonna increase my salary with a thousand RMB every year for as long as I'm with them. You understand? So there is a base salary. So I'm getting the base salary because I'm still new. But when I finish the year, they're gonna add another 1,000. Another year, another 1,000. So you don't stay in the same, like you don't, your salary doesn't stay the same every year. And for me, that is pretty awesome. And how much will I spend on transport from my apartment to work? I live on campus. I feel like I'm a student again. Like I live on, obviously, the lecturer's residence, that's what they call it. The school pays for it. I don't pay anything. I don't even pay for water. The only thing I pay for is electricity, and electricity in China is quite cheap. So I would pay 200 kwai, which is equivalent to 400 rands, and that will last maybe 6 months. Accommodation allowance. Are you getting accommodation allowance? This is especially when people now, their salaries are at 18,000 or 30,000. The school most likely will not be paying for your accommodation. And bear in mind that in China you have to pay 4 months in advance for your accommodation. And accommodation in cities, in first tier cities are quite expensive, right? Quite expensive. So think about that. And do I get a health insurance? So those are some of the things you need to consider if you're thinking, big money, big salary. Who gets the minimum wage in China? Well, typically it's an inexperienced teacher, often with no certification, right? Or maybe a student or someone that just newly graduated. But there is no such thing as a fixed salary. No matter how much you get, moving to China will definitely change your financial situation and improve you'll be comfortable, most likely. So it doesn't really matter how much you get. And I mean, not everyone can say their first salary was 18,000 rands. That's when I started. A rough background, that's when I started in China 2 years ago. My first salary was 9,000. I was teaching at a kindergarten. Bear in mind, I was a new graduate, just graduated from South Africa, and then, okay, let's go China, what's up? And then I get 9,000 RMB. They paid for my accommodation. I had a health insurance, and it was really, really good. My workplace was not far from my accommodation, like my apartment, so that was pretty awesome. So and I don't have responsibilities like having to take care of family at home or having to take care of my kid, or so I was really happy. And considered that I was only 23. Yes, this was 2018, so I was like 23. And basically, what do you do with all of that? Yes, you save it up, which will be my next topic.